What's up guys, HOTSHOTFRONTIER back at it again with another video, and in this video guys, we're going to be doing the meta tier list post YCS Sacramento. And of course, as you guys know, Fiend Smith Snake Eyes took the event down. Jesse Cotton has his 6th YCS title. Insane, but you guys already know it was a tier 0 format, and that final match was really good too. Fiend Smith Snake Eyes versus Fiend Smith Yugioh. I was really hoping for Yugioh, but we'll have to wait until next time. But anyway, we do have Meta Definer, we have Top the Event, Decent Enough, Honorable Mention, and Rogue Level. So let's get started. And of course, I do want to mention that anything that I put on this list, it doesn't mean if I put something at Rogue Level, it doesn't necessarily mean overall, but in terms of this event. So let's go ahead and start off with Voiceless Voice. I'll put Decent Enough. Now, unfortunately, we saw no representation in terms of top 32, but the deck is still very solid, and I think that with time, it can be a real meta definer deck. Moving on, we of course have the best deck of the format, tier 0. Jesse Cotton took this strategy and of course conquered the event. So not much to say about that, of course, but we'll see what happens probably next week with that ban list, right? So we'll see what happens with that. But of course, it stays at meta definer. Next up, we do have Fiend Smith Yugioh, and we're gonna put this here, of course. Now, Fiend Smith Snake Eyes is the top deck, so now we're kind of going for like 2nd, 3rd, 4th place for the top the event category. Now, this deck is really solid as well. Going forward with the ban list, I don't believe that Yugioh is going to be hit too much, really. It's going to be more focused around Fiend Smith Snake Eyes, but who knows? We'll see what happens with that. But it did very well with the event, of course. For Yugioh, at least, Yugioh had about 1 in top 4, 1 spot, while Snake Eyes had about 2 spots, and going further out, top 16 had 9 Fiend Smith Snake Eyes, while of course top 32 had 18 decks for Fiend Smith Snake Eyes, and I believe Yugioh had 9. So you can kind of see that diversity between both decks. They're kind of crazy, but of course we played the best deck. Moving on, we do have Fiend Smith Chimera. Unfortunately, we did not really see this at all. At least on the cameras, we did not see this on any of the lists. It did not make top 32. I don't know if this is going to be the right version for Chimera, or people are going to prefer playing the Illusion version. But let me know down below, of course, if you do play Chimera, which version you do want to play. Unfortunately for this event, we just didn't really see it, right? I can also just put this here, really. It's still a great deck, but we just didn't, unfortunately, see it for the event. Moving on, we do have Runic, of course, Runic White Forest, and I would actually put White Forest at Decent Enough, probably in the top of Decent Enough. It was a great strategy, and of course, we did see an infamous moment on camera of gaining 1,000 and of course going into time and winning with the infamous handshake, right? But it's a really good strategy. And again, mixed with cards like Emergency Provisions, you can really win in time. So I think that moving forward, Runic is probably the strongest version with Whitewoods. Now, people do say Centurion, of course, and other versions, but I think for right now, Runic is a very strong contender. Moving on, we do have, of course, Fiend Smith Rescue Ace, and I'll put it at Decent Enough. Same thing, we really did not see this for the event. I'm sure people were playing the deck, but unfortunately, it just did not have a chance to top. But it is a very strong strategy. I think, again, it's similar to like Fiend Smith Snake Eyes and Yugioh. It's just a very strong build. Moving on, we do have Melodious, and Melodious, we are going to put at Decent Enough. Again, we did not see this at the event, but it's still a very strong strategy, and I think it's kind of been low-key lately, so it's something that you do want to brush your knowledge up on. If not, it's going to sneak up on you and get that win. Next up, we do have Heroes, and that is an honorable mention because we did see this for round 1 on the cameras. It was actually a great sight. I think it was, he was versing Pack, actually. He was playing, I believe it was either the Runic version of Whitewoods, but it was a great match. I mean, the hero player got 2-0'd, but it was great to see, honestly. And I think that if we wait further until the Evil Hero support, this deck can really flourish. So I cannot wait to see what happens then. Moving on, we have Sky Striker. There were like at least 1 or 2 deck profiles for Sky Striker at the event, and I'm actually gonna put this at rogue level. Unfortunately, I think that's really it for Sky Striker, right? It's kind of the nail on the coffin, or at least for now. Maybe later we'll see if they can kind of improve their gameplay, but for right now, it's really tough for the deck. We do have Labyrinth, and I'll put this at honorable mention, but it's still a very decent. Actually, I'll leave this an honorable mention. The reason I do is because I really have to shout this deck out. There was the one player, I believe it was day one, he played a trap card that was from 2 core sets ago. I'll leave it on the screen for you guys, but it's an insanely broken card, and he was able to resolve it about 2 or 3 times that day. So shout out to him. He might have been the only player that was consistently going strong with Labyrinth, you know, around that with his record. But I would love to see more Labyrinth success in the meta. We'll see further on, of course, with the new meta after the ban list. Next up, we do have Sprite, and I would actually put Sprite at decent enough too. Sprite is an amazing deck. Unfortunately, again, we did not see this on top for the top 32, but there are a lot of different versions you can play with Sprite, and I think going forward, we will see some more different variants with it. Next up, we do have Kashtira, and I actually would put either Kashtira at probably honorable mention. I don't know how many people were playing just pure Kashtira, but it was great to see. And it was on a feature match. I think they were versing Fiendsmith Snake Eyes, if I'm correct on that, but it was great to kind of see that deck still flourish, even though it hasn't been hit a lot. Next up, we do have Centurion, and I thought I put Centurion White Forest here as well, but I actually did see a Centurion build on one of the cameras. It was just a pure build, and it was a very strong build. Of course, post the supported did receive. I will actually put this at decent enough. Now, people have been saying that a very strong version of Centurion could be combined with Bystials. I don't know if that's, you know, necessarily the strongest version, but moving forward with our meta, I think that Centurion is still a very strong deck, and I don't think they will hit Calamity. If so, there's still other options with the deck. So personally, even though it did not receive a top 32 spot, it's still a very strong deck in the meta. Moving on, we do have Gimmick Puppets, and I will actually put Gimmick Puppets, at least in terms of this event, at rogue level. Now, a lot of people will be like, wait, what? Like, what's going on? But there really wasn't any like top 32 postings for Gimmick Puppets. Honestly, you know what? I would put this at decent enough, but really it's tough. I think once you kind of like figure out the gimmick for the Gimmick Puppets, that's pretty much it, right? For the most part, if you're able to stop them, you open up your a very strong hand. You can't do much after that. But it's still a very strong FTK deck, and they do have other options if they cannot FTK you. Now, we do have Dark World, and that is an honorable mention for sure. They were on that camera and they did their, they tried to do their job. Unfortunately, they didn't win, but it's just so tough for that deck, especially with Droll just so prevalent in our meta. But honestly, shout out to them. That was great to see. I always love Dark World gameplay. Next up, we do have Memento, and Memento would be like more like the top of decent enough. So this was cool to see because Memento actually made it actually got a place in terms of top 32 and top 16. That same player went from top 32, went to 16. Unfortunately, he lost, but he really drove the deck far. And that's something that, of course, it's great to see in terms of a rogue strategy, right? Because Memento would actually be down here, but it's great to see that that player, very dedicated, he took that strategy all the way, and he was so close to. But we'll see in other formats, of course. Next, we do have Mimighoul, and we didn't see much of Mimighoul. We'll actually just put it at rogue level, but just know that, of course, as you guys know, it has a lot of potential moving forward, especially with the announcement of its new support card and spell that can look through your opponent's extra deck. That's pretty broken. And then, of course, here we go. We have White Woods by themselves, and yeah, I would put them behind the Runic version, but it's a very strong deck, consisting, of course, of level 2s and level 4s. But let me know what you guys think, of course. What's the strongest variant of White Forest? And then we do have Ritual Beast, a deck that we did see for, we did see on the cams, but unfortunately they did not make it to top 32. Again, I feel like they're kind of in the same boat as Voiceless Voice and, of course, Melodious. They are very strong strategies. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to advance to that next spot. And then we do have Tenpai rounding it off, and of course Tenpai would go top the event. It was the one Tenpai player that continued to push through. Unfortunately, I believe he got 3rd or 4th place, but shout out to him, honestly. It was hard enough. There weren't many Tenpai players in top 32. I believe there were only about like 5, maybe 4. So for them to go that far too, it's great. It's great to see. But guys, this is what we have for the meta tier list post YCS Sacramento. Personally, I am really excited to see a lot of these strategies do get out. I think overall it was a great event. Now, of course, it was, you know, top 32, 18 Fiendsmith Snake Eyes players, right? Of course, good event. But the last event that Konami hopefully needed to really fix the ban list, right? Let's cross our fingers. But guys, if you guys like the video, make sure to give it a huge like. Comment down below your thoughts. Down below in the comment section, let me know. And of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn notification bell on so you're updated the moment I upload new videos, guys. That's it for me. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day or night, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.